Max Branning returns to Walford in EastEnders spoilers for next week as Lauren and Peter's wedding descends into chaos. But how will Zoe and Stacey react to news of Max's return? Stay tuned for our EastEnders spoilers. Spoiler 1. Peter pops the question. Peter's plans for a surprise wedding hit a stumbling block when Lauren refuses to go to the spa day he had planned instead of work. Although unaware of Peter's plans, Penny intervenes and takes Lauren for drinks. As they chat, Penny's comments leave Lauren doubting the future of her relationship. Afterwards, Lauren goes to the Vic with Penny to see Peter, but is shocked to find the pub decked out for their wedding. She's stunned as Peter asks her to marry him. Spoiler 2. Peter and Lauren prepare for their wedding. Reeling from the shock, Lauren reluctantly agrees to get ready for her impromptu wedding. She insists to a skeptical Penny that she's fine before attempting to flee. Later, Peter and Lauren prepare to tie the knot in front of their family and friends. Spoiler 3. Max Branning crashes the wedding. However, the ceremony is disrupted by the sudden arrival of Max Branning. Stacey and Zoe look on stunned at Max's arrival. As Max turns his attention to Lauren and Peter, Kat warns Zoe to stay away from Max. It soon becomes clear that Max is fixated on Stacey and he follows her home. Later, Oscar tries to get his dad's attention, but Max is more interested in Zoe. As father and daughter argue over their similarities, Lauren orders Max to leave Walford. Spoiler 4. Cindy confronts Max. Peter grows concerned about Max's arrival for fear of how Cindy will react. Elsewhere, Cindy is shocked when Jasmine tells her that Max Branning is back in town. Determined to face the man who killed her son, she storms over to the Vic to face Max. Cindy is stunned when Jasmine reveals Max Branning is back as she heads to the Vic to face the man who killed her son. Spoiler 5. Stacey frets about her future. Stacey tries to convince Lily to move with her to Brazil, but her daughter is adamant that she's staying. Jean and Zoe both try to convince Stacey to stay, while supportive Eve is behind the big move. Later, Stacey reveals that she has decided to stay in Walford. She tries to put on a brave front, but Lily worries that her mum has made the wrong choice. Spoiler 6. Jean disappears as Stacey prepares to leave Walford. Zoe and Lily convince Stacey to move to Brazil after all. Stacey and Mo try to get a hold of Jean, who is stuck on the tube with Priya. Both unaware of what's going on back on Albert Square, Priya tries to calm Jean as she suffers a panic attack. Spoiler 7. Oki is attacked. Oki and Ravi worry that Kojo's flat has become compromised following a run-in with another gang. Later, Harry notices a gang watching the flat and keeps quiet in the hope that a raid will scare Ravi and Oki away from the flat. He panics when Kojo returns home, but is distracted by Gina. Meanwhile, Kojo is shocked when he discovers that Oki has been attacked. Spoiler 8. Nicola intervenes as Harry and Gina plan for the future. Harry helps clean up in the aftermath of Oki's attack, but earns Gina's rage when he fails to show up before the wedding. Later, he calls Nicola to help get him out of Ravi's debt. Nicola threatens to call Ravi's bosses if he doesn't let Harry go, but Ravi soon makes it clear to Oki that Kojo and the flat remain vital to their operation. Meanwhile, Harry heads to the Vic, where he reconciles with Gina. Looking to the future, the loved-up pair decide to book a last-minute weekend away. And if you enjoyed these EastEnders spoilers, subscribe so you can come back for more news from the square. Here are 9 thrilling Coronation Street spoilers for next week, including a night out turned violent, work struggles and huge lies. Don't go anywhere. Spoiler 1. Asha feels alone in her struggles. Nina worries about Asha as she watches her get drunk, concerned that she's not coping with things. At work, Asha sits and watches the other paramedics while feeling alone. Sienna then turns up at Dev's shop, with Dev realizing that Asha hasn't been back at work. Dev confronts Asha over her lies, with Asha then storming out. She then tells Dev that she has decided to retract her complaint. Spoiler 2. Glenda plots to help Jenny. With Glenda hosting a dating night at the Rovers, she plots to make sure that Jenny gets a date with George first before Christina. However, as the night kicks off, Jenny receives the news that Rita has had a fall. Jenny then makes out to George that Rita's really ill, with George heading round to bring her some soup. George isn't happy when he finds out that Rita's only sprained her ankle and that Jenny lied to him. Spoiler 3. George weighs up his options. Glenda writes George a list of Christina's pros and cons, but Christina arrives and grabs the list out of her hand. How will she react? Spoiler 4. Theo schemes against Billy. Billy's surprised to find Theo comforting Danielle at the bistro. He then soon becomes the target of Theo's anger when he snaps at Billy and Todd at the community centre, with Todd helping Billy out at the soup kitchen. Theo then goes to help dismantle the tables but traps his finger. He's smug when Todd heads off to find a first aid kit. Spoiler 5. Tyrone returns home. Tyrone returns home in a wheelchair, and his loved ones arrive to give him their love. Spoiler 6. Debbie snoops around. Abby goes to the hotel and tells Carl she's not in the mood to sleep with him. Carl then texts James instead. Debbie spots Abby with a hotel key, but Abby tells her she stayed there ages ago but kept the key by mistake. Debbie doesn't remember Abby having a booking though. Trying to cover, Carl blames Debbie's dementia. But later on, Debbie checks the hotel's CCTV footage for a theft and spots Abby going to Carl's room. Debbie then tells Abby to move out of the house or she'll tell Kevin everything. Spoiler 7. Bethany's back. At the station, Kit interviews Bethany Platt, who explains that she quit her job in London and took her boss's car to drive back to Manchester. She's now been accused of car theft. Can Kit help get Bethany out of trouble? Spoiler 8. Theo and Todd's night out. Todd's pleased but surprised when Theo agrees to join him and his mates on a night out at the gay village. In the club, a man called Owen recognizes Theo and rushes off when Theo stares at him. Owen then approaches Theo and is ready to confront him over something. Things get physically violent outside as Theo warns him to leave him alone. The next day, Todd worries when Theo disappears after their argument the night before. When Jake hands Brian a phone he's found, Todd realizes it's Theo's. What's happened to him? Spoiler 9. Jenny apologizes to Rita. Jenny heads round to speak to Rita and apologizes to her for lying to George about her health. She pleads for forgiveness and explains that her actions only came out of a craving for attention. Can the pair make amends? And if you enjoyed these Coronation Street spoilers, subscribe so you can come back for more news from the Cobbles. Here are 6 huge Emmerdale spoilers for next week, including Leo's life on the line after April's awful mistake, and Robert's mystery man. Spoiler 1. April puts Leo in hospital. April's double life continues and Dylan is shocked to find her selling drugs outside a university halls. Dylan begs Ray to let her stop dealing, but Ray manipulates him and Dylan lets her carry on. However, things take a devastating turn when April is babysitting Leo and she abandons him to do a job for Ray. April accidentally drops pills from her bag as she leaves the house and returns home to find Leo being loaded into an ambulance. The police and social services are contacted and Rona suspects April. April considers confessing, but when she spots the police, she flees. April tells Dylan she's ready to tell the truth. But as her life crumbles and her family is in tatters, will April be honest? And how will Ray react to his empire being brought to the edge of collapse? Spoiler 2. Robert's mystery visitor. A mysterious man arrives in Emmerdale Village asking for directions, and he soon makes his way to Robert's house. Robert is stunned to open the door to a familiar face. He checks no one can see them and lets the man in. It's clear Kev is someone Robert knows from prison. And when Victoria walks in, she is stunned to see Robert holding hands with a man who is not Aaron. Robert finally gets rid of Kev, but knows he's in for a grilling from his sister. But what is he hiding? Spoiler 3. Vinny and Gabby head to court. Vinny is horrified when he discovers the defense plans to call Gabby as a witness. He soon finds himself lying to her over what the court case is about. Mike intimidates Vinny, who agrees to tear the prosecution case apart in court if Mike leaves him alone. However, he secretly plans to tell the truth on the stand. Vinny heads into court and stands up to Mike. However, panic soon sets in. Gabby has entered the public gallery. She fixes him with a cold look just as he's about to admit where he first met Mike. Will Vinny be able to go ahead with his testimony? Spoiler 4. Charity continues to cover her tracks. Charity continues to feel guilty about the baby around Sarah, but Mac picks up that something is wrong. He asks Charity why she was behaving oddly, thinking she's worried Sarah's getting too excited. Charity quickly changes the subject. Spoiler 5. Kim agrees to the adoption. Kim opposes Vinny adopting Thomas, worried it was erase Jamie from his life. But Vinny and Mandy convince her what it would mean to Thomas, and she eventually agrees. Celia makes amends. Celia upsets Paddy when she makes a joke about his dog attack. Moira is annoyed and tells her she needs to fix things with Paddy. Celia is soon able to charm Paddy, and he forgives her. And if you enjoyed these Emmerdale spoilers, subscribe so you can come back for more.